Discipline begins at the point where feelings lose authority over your actions. Most people wait to feel motivated, confident, or inspired before they move, but feelings are unreliable. They rise and fall based on mood, energy, and circumstances. If your progress depends on how you feel, your progress will always be inconsistent. Discipline changes this by shifting control from emotion to decision. Once a decision is made, action no longer requires debate. You don't ask yourself whether you feel like doing the work. You simply do what you already decided was necessary. A decision is powerful because it closes the door to hesitation. When you decide in advance how you will act, you eliminate daily negotiations with comfort. You no longer waste mental energy asking, should I do this today? That question has already been answered. Discipline is the habit of honoring past decisions, especially when the present moment tries to talk you out of them. This is why disciplined people appear calm and focused. They are not fighting themselves every day. Feelings are excellent servants, but poor leaders. They can enhance your experience, but they cannot be trusted to guide your future. Discipline teaches you to act first and let feelings follow. Often, motivation arrives after you begin, not before. Clarity comes from movement. Confidence grows from completed action. Waiting to feel ready keeps people trapped in preparation, while disciplined action moves them forward, even in uncertainty. Making a decision also creates identity. Each time you follow through, you reinforce the belief that you are someone who keeps their word. This builds self-respect, which is far more valuable than temporary motivation. Over time, discipline becomes less about effort and more about alignment. You act in a certain way because that is who you've decided to be. The moment you understand that discipline is not an emotional state but a personal agreement, progress becomes predictable. You stop depending on bursts of inspiration and start relying on structure. That structure frees you. It removes chaos, reduces stress, and replaces hope with direction. Discipline is not about forcing yourself endlessly. It is about deciding once and living in alignment with that decision daily. Great progress so far. This keynote is the backbone of real, lasting success. Here's the expanded version in a clear, educational, and inspirational tone. Small actions rarely feel important in the moment. Reading a few pages, practicing a skill for 10 minutes, saving a small amount of money, or choosing a healthier option once a day doesn't create an immediate sense of achievement. Because the results are invisible at first, many people dismiss these actions as insignificant. But success is not built in moments of intensity. It is built in moments of consistency. What feels small today becomes powerful when repeated over time. Every great outcome is the result of accumulation. Just as interest compounds in finance, effort compounds in life. One disciplined action adds to another. And over weeks and months, those actions begin to create momentum. The mistake most people make is underestimating the power of repetition, while overestimating the impact of a single effort. They look for breakthroughs, not realizing that discipline turns ordinary routines into breakthroughs over time. Small daily actions also reduce resistance. Massive goals can feel overwhelming, but simple actions are approachable. Discipline works best when it is sustainable. When you commit to manageable steps, you remove fear and procrastination from the process. Progress becomes less about intensity and more about reliability. Showing up consistently builds rhythm, and rhythm builds confidence. What makes small actions extraordinary is not their size, but their direction. When your daily habits align with your long-term goals, you are moving forward even on days that feel unproductive. These actions quietly shape your skills, your mindset, and your standards. You may not notice the change day to day, but one day you look back and realize you are no longer the same person who started. Consistency also creates trust with yourself. Each small win reinforces the belief that you can follow through. That belief becomes the foundation for greater challenges. Over time, what once required effort becomes automatic, and what once felt difficult becomes normal. This is how discipline transforms potential into reality through small, deliberate actions repeated until success is no longer a possibility but an outcome. Most struggle in life does not come from doing too much too soon, but from doing too little for too long. When responsibilities are delayed, they do not disappear, they grow. Problems ignored today return tomorrow with greater force. Discipline interrupts this cycle by encouraging timely action. It teaches you to face what is necessary now so it does not become overwhelming later. This is why disciplined people often appear to live simpler lives. They deal with issues while they are still small. Every avoided task carries a hidden cost. Missed practice weakens skill. Ignored planning creates confusion. Delayed effort turns minor challenges into major obstacles. Discipline reduces this future burden by addressing things early when they require less energy and less stress. What feels uncomfortable today is often far easier than what it becomes if left unattended. In this way, discipline acts as a form of self-respect and foresight. Short-term discomfort is not the enemy. Unmanaged delay is. Discipline teaches you to accept small amounts of discomfort willingly so you don't suffer greater consequences unwillingly. This shift in thinking changes how you approach effort. You stop asking how to avoid difficulty and start asking how to minimize long-term pain. The answer is almost always the same: act now with purpose. Discipline also brings clarity. When tasks are handled on time, mental space opens. Stress reduces because there are fewer unresolved commitments competing for your attention. Life becomes more organized, more focused, and more intentional. You are no longer reacting to pressure, you are directing your actions. This sense of control builds confidence and calm. Over time, disciplined action compounds into freedom. Freedom from repeated restarts. Freedom from excuses. Freedom from regret. You gain the ability to choose growth over convenience, progress over delay. Discipline does not restrict your life, it simplifies it. By doing what is necessary when it is necessary, you create a future that requires less struggle and offers more opportunity. Consistency is the quiet force that shapes identity. Every repeated action sends a message to your mind about who you are. When you show up daily, even in small ways, you begin to see yourself differently. You are no longer someone who hopes to change. You become someone who follows through. Discipline is not just something you do, it becomes something you are. This shift in identity is what makes long-term success sustainable. Confidence does not come from positive thinking alone. It comes from evidence. Each disciplined action becomes proof that you can trust yourself. When you keep small promises consistently, you strengthen self-belief. That belief creates stability, especially during difficult moments. Instead of relying on external validation or sudden motivation, you rely on your habits. You know what you will do because you have practiced doing it. Consistency also raises your personal standards. What once felt optional begins to feel necessary. You stop negotiating with your responsibilities because discipline has made commitment normal. This change happens gradually, almost unnoticed, but it is powerful. Your environment may stay the same, but your expectations of yourself increase. With higher standards comes better decision-making and stronger focus. Over time, discipline. Consistency reduces internal conflict. There is less mental debate and less self-doubt. You don't question whether you are capable. Your daily actions have already answered that question. This creates emotional stability and a sense of inner alignment. You act in ways that match your goals, and that alignment produces calm confidence. Eventually, results begin to reflect your internal growth. Others may notice your confidence before they notice your achievements. They see reliability, clarity, and self-control. These qualities attract opportunities and respect. Discipline, practiced consistently, transforms effort into identity and identity into confidence. It becomes the foundation upon which lasting success is built. All of these principles lead to one truth. Discipline is not about restriction, force. or perfection, it is about alignment. When you decide in advance how you will act, commit to small daily actions, handle responsibilities early, and remain consistent, progress becomes inevitable. Success stops feeling random and starts feeling earned. You are no longer chasing outcomes, you are building the habits that produce them. Discipline simplifies life. It removes confusion, reduces regret, and replaces hope with direction. Each disciplined choice strengthens your identity and deepens your confidence. Over time, you stop relying on motivation and begin trusting your systems. What once required effort becomes routine, and what once felt difficult becomes part of who you are. In the end, discipline is the true shortcut, not because it is easy, but because it works. It saves you from repeated struggle and guides you towards steady growth. When practiced daily, discipline transforms potential into progress and intention into achievement, creating a life shaped not by chance, but by choice.